Hi everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm currently sitting up on a ladder here, so hopefully I don't fall. So this video is based on something that I done 8 years ago. It is a project that is, so I'll bring a big camera up and just do a wee quick demonstration of it. So this is a Louvre system that I have created 8 years ago before I started studying, and it's never been, I was meant to do a video on it a long time ago, but I have took loads of pictures of it, and I've had videos of it when I was building it, but they aren't of the same quality as the 4K camera, so I've decided to do a wee video of this before I show the manufacturing process. So I'm going to show it working, and let me see if I can find the remote for it. It's in my pocket somewhere. So what the system is a Louvre system that automatically opens and closes. And there's 12 flaps on it. It extracts, I think it's 600,000 cubic meters per hour, which is a lot. It's far too much for this garage, but I like to go big. It's always better to go big than go small, but I went extremely big. So at the other end of the garage, way over yonder, maybe about, I don't know how many meters away, 12 meters away, there's two ducts in the top of a shade, and they allow for fresh air to be brought into the garage once this fan extracts the air. So it basically conditions the air in the garage with fresh air from a height of at the top of the garage. I obviously didn't build this fan, but the fan is much more simpler than the louvers. The louvers themselves is tucked in here behind this insulation that I have around the garage, so you can't really see them. But in the pictures that will come at the end of the video will demonstrate the louvers when they were being made. So the louvers is handcrafted. The 12 blades is basically just the profiles, like a Z shape with two 30, I think it's 30-degree angles. So the project was done 8 years ago, long time ago, and I have built lots more projects since then, but because of the terrible weather outside, I've decided to do this one to keep things going on the channel. What else can I say now? So I'm going to do a wee talk about the project inside, and then I'm going to go outside and show you the actual louvers themselves, open and close. But I'm going to demonstrate the project opening and close with this remote first. Inside, it's currently raining outside, so I will do my best. I might be out in the rain for a minute. So this control box up here, this transmitter sends a signal, radio frequency, through this receiver, and basically it switches a relay. So there's 4 relays, 4 channels. Channel A turns the fan on, but first of all it holds the fan from starting until the louvers open. This Louvre system is designed because I have this fan up in the garage and birds was creeping in and out, you know, when I'm trying to make a nest before I done the garage up. It also keeps out pests, to say like roof rats trying to climb up and get in. So what I've done is I made the louvers not fixed, but what I've made them to be adjustable, like automatic blinds. I call these automatic linear louvers because they're linear motion. So I'm going to bring the camera up now and do a wee demonstration of it working. So before I do that, I'm going to just try and show the linkages. The linkages are buried in here behind this insulation. Let me see if I can zoom in. You can see them here, the bars, all the wee bars. You will see them more clearly at the with the older video that was done on my, I think it was an S5 phone, Samsung, 8 years ago. Let me them cobwebs. So there's 12 blades or 12 flaps. And there's also 12 bars, 12 linkages. I think there's 12 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think there's 12. So there's 12 bar. Oh, they're all handcrafted. This one, there's a 10 mil bar that runs from the top to the bottom, and this actuator moves that bar. The actuator here is a 50 mil stroke actuator, but I have adopted the limit switches inside it. I have cobwebs hanging to my fingers, so I have adopted the limit switches inside the actuator, top and bottom. The outstroke So I have reduced it to 36mm. I still seem to remember that from years ago. There was a lot of making in this project. It doesn't, you know, doesn't really show until you see the pictures later. It's all handcrafted, so all these wee holes is tapped, and there's studs or M4. I think it's M4 threads or threaded bar is screwed into them and cut off, and there's nuts put on them to hold each one of the washers on, or the what do you call them, linkages even. And each linkage is connected to a blade, not a blade, a flap. The flaps all move together and line, so when one moves, the other moves, so it gets out of its way. This big duct here was just made out in the street here. There was no press brake. These folds is all created from by tracking the back of it with a grinder. So if we're looking through here, you can see the flaps, you can see all the wee linkages, and all the wee bars is all handcrafted, and they are cut to allow the blades to slide under them using a grinder and a jig. I will show the jig demonstration in a wee minute. It's a really good, so the birds can't get in now, or pests can't get in, rats or anything. There's a mill gap at the side there to keep the louvers from scratching the paint on the louver, the border or the frame of the louvers. So we're going to do one demonstration before we go any further with it turning on up close. And I can find the remote again. So when I push button A now, a signal radio frequency will go to this here. There's a receiver in here, controls channel A. Channel A, there's also an antenna on this remote, but obviously don't need to extend it within distance. I'm within, you know, it works up to over 20 meters with the antenna down. So this fan, if I was to put my hand in there, obviously I would get my hand took off, so I need to be careful. Otherwise it doesn't suck the camera in too. Okay, so as you can see, there's a lot of overspray on it where it's just been sucking over time. It's been up there now for 8 years. It has never failed. So if I do a demonstration of it now, turning on channel A, it will open the louvers. The fan will not start for about a second. That's the way I have it wired up. I have a delay timer in there. I can adjust it, but it's never been adjusted since it's been up there. So if I put channel A now, the louvers open. You can see it. Oh, watch my hand. You can see the daylight, and that fan is now in full speed, sucking 600 cubic meters per hour, which is a lot. If you open the door at the end of the garage, you can feel the force. It's a huge, big force. The fan is overkill, as I mentioned, but I like big better than small. I could stop this fan now by pushing channel C or channel D. That fan, the blades is that heavy in that fan. If you put your hand on there now, even when it's moving, it would break your fingers. It actually happened to me once. I snapped my index finger in half, putting it under a car fan. It's a different story. But so here, you can see outside there now with the levers. I can, you can still feel that fan sucking at that speed. I can also keep obviously the fan going. Or the fan stopped with them vents open to allow fresh air to travel through the garage itself with no forced air. So I'm going to now go outside and do a demonstration, but first of all I'm going to do one wee final video of it working in here. So I can turn the fan on now again by pushing A, channel A. I feel it sucking already just when I was there. So I can stop the fan with C like I demonstrated, but I can also shut the whole fan down and close the louvers. So you can hear closing the louvers actually slows the fan down. You can hear like a brake. So that is it. This here's all handcrafted, these flanges, and I think this round barrel that's welded on there to the, what could you call it, duct. It's stainless steel, it's 2mm thickness. I think it's 2mm as far as I mind. So basically what I use this fan for is extracting overspray and fumes when I'm welding steel to steel. And fine dust, anything, just protect your lungs, you know. I was meant to duct this to the floor so it doesn't take the heat out of the garage, but I never got around it yet, and it's been 8 years. That just goes to show you how busy I am. I've been currently doing other projects. So I'm up at a great height there. I'm going to now do a demonstration of it down low. So here we go. Push A, fan comes on. I can feel the air sucking up through the bottom of the door here in the garage. It's obviously sucking the closest place of entry. So here, if I press just C or D, I'll do D this time. I can turn the fan off and keep the vents open. I can also close the louvers up by pushing B. The fan's already off. It's the way I have it all wired up, the circuitry that I have made inside it, inside that control box. So if I push B now, I can close the louvers, and the fan's obviously already off anyway. So now we're going to go outside and do a nice demonstration of it working. Hopefully we don't get soaked. Okay everybody, so we're doing a demonstration of it outside working. It's really wet out here and windy. When I turn this fan on, when I open these louvers, you can see here all the nice rubber seals. So it's like, I think it's like U-beads, rubber beads, and they are pushed onto the end of each flap. So I'm going to open the louvers now, and you will see the whoosh of the fan. So here we go. Might blow me off the ladder. Might be a good thing. So you can see that normally here now, that's quite good. Really good. Okay, so that's it. The flaps are all open, nice and straight, so the air's no restrictions here. This frame is screwed on to the face of the shade, and so I can stop the fan as it says, and keep the louvers open. These louvers is quite stable, as you can see. These louvers has probably been open and closed every day since I made them. I don't know about every day, but close to every day. And so if I can close the louvers now by pushing B, channel B, just the way I have it wired up, and I can open them again and turn the fan on. So when I open them, the louvers open, then the fan comes on after 2 seconds. That's it. I'm going to head down here. The camera's getting really wet. Look. So the camera's getting wet. So one final thing before we go on, I'm going to have to dry the camera. So this here jig, keep an eye out for this in pictures. You'll see what it's used for. It's for tracking the wee bars. Oh, might just do a wee video of that quick. Oh, back up the ladder. So you can see the wee bars in the under up here. The heavy bar is tracked 3 mil up, about 15 mil to the track, 15 mil up. The linkages hold the flaps. You'll see them better in the pictures. That's it. I'll just do a wee demonstration, wee video of when I get down the ladder here, of where the louvers actually are. So them louvers is actually on the side of the shade there. That's it. I have to go and dry my camera. So here we have the system operating. This was 8 years ago. Everything is in sync. So if one thing is misaligned, the whole lot would be thrown off, wouldn't work. There's 12 linkages, 12 washers, 12 hinges at each side, 1 main bar and 1 actuator that controls the whole lot. There's a small margin of error between each blade. So in order to get the blades shut nice and tight, there has to be minimal play between all the linkage system. The blue seals reduce the draft between the blades when the louvers are shut. The system looks a lot more fresher here than it does on the most recent videos. So here you can see me stopping it with the flaps open. As they move. Closing it with B, channel B. This is 8 years ago too, when the face of the shape was just new. So if they were fixed, it would just look like that now, open all the time. Insects and rodents, anything, birds could get in through. Snakes? No, am I joking? Another demonstration in the shed from the early days, before the insulation was put on. That's it. So as you can see from the video, the garage is very old, there's no paint on the floor and stuff. So this is when I started making the louvres, making the miter in the corners. That is welded with a TIG welder. This is the enclosure when it is fully welded up, ready for sandblasting and painting. Here all the holes are bored for each of the 12 blades for the shafts. Connections. This is the outside of the louvres. Inside of the garage, but outside of the actual, or the opposite end of the flaps. So each of these washers is to keep the blades from marking the frame itself. So there's a mil gap between the blades, or the flaps, and the enclosure itself, the frame. This is the jig unit that I says to keep an eye out for. So this is for slicing the hinge parts for the blades to slide into. You'll see the pictures now. So this is them tracked, 2 mil slots using that jig. Simple jig. These is more shaft pins that holds the flaps. All stainless, of course. Each one of these is individually tapped by hand, bored, hole, bigger hole at one side, then it tightens into the blades. The wee washers with the bolts in it is the linking system, the camber system. It opens and closes the blades. The big 12mm bar is about 1 meter long. I forgot to say that this vent is about 1 meter in size. That's all the wee gadgets needed for the linkage system of the 12 blades. Keep on the blades, flaps. And that's them again, just trying to, these is old pictures, very old. The quality's not great. This is the louver system we put together before it was painted. So this is the sliding shaft, sliding bar that the actuator controls. Each one of the wee shafts connected to the blades is turned down for just a wee nick for me to place the washers on, to be TIG welded on. This is them ready to be welded when the blade was all shut. So this bar on the right slides up and down and opens and closes the blades. Simple, but they all need to be the exact same length. This is them nearly ready to be tacked again. Make sure the blades is shut when I'm doing it. This is them tacked, I think. So the blades is all downhill. If you pull that bar now, then blades are open. If you pull it downhill, down to the ground, then blades are open now. These photos are all from 8 years ago. This is the louvers more or less nearly finished, ready for the seals. This is the inside of the louvers, where the side of the fan goes on. So to bolt the fan to this, the fan's round and the louvers are square. So in order to do that, I needed to design like a tunnel system that the fan can bolt to. You'll see it was designed up in SolidWorks here, and it was basically made just by see now in the next picture sitting on top of my old car. So it's ready, square to round, like an adapter. It's a 1 meter in size, very big. So next step was forming a cylinder that sits into that shape, the same size as the circumference of the fan. You'll see it now, it's been bent around a gate. I didn't actually have a roller. I might have rolled it actually and tweeted it with the gate there. to get a nice round shape. So you can see here, this is the cylinder ready to be welded. That's an old fan that was never used because it burnt out. So that's an old picture. The Louvre's end was modified. A flange put on it for this new fan that's currently on at the minute. In the video demonstration, this is the old fan. So I had to get it. This fan burnt out, this motor, and it was an ancient fan done up by me. So when it burnt out, I had to source a new fan. I think the fan is exactly 750 mil or something. This is a unique shape that sits into the square part of the reducer. This is it now, ready to be welded. With the old fan, that fan is not as powerful, it doesn't extract as much flow of air for it. It's ancient. I think it was a old chicken shed. This is the inside of the reducer, ready to be welded up, all tacked. Keep it from pulling. The stainless tends to pull a lot. And distort, warp, the heat. This is the reducer itself for the new flange welded on for the new fan. And there's 2 rubber seals around it. Not really required, but it's better than having nothing there. That's a wee teaser in the background there, made other louvres. It's the biggest aperture in the world. Camera apertures in our Louvre system. There it is again. So that will come in the summertime. It's a unique piece of work. It took me 2 to 3 years to get it going properly. It has 18 blades in it, so that's why I'm getting mixed up in blades and flaps here. It would chop your head off if your head was in between that hole. It's a piece of art. This is me painting the border of the Louvres, the Linear Louvres. There's a black with, I think it was orange flake, just sprinkled into it. This was actually painted outside and no tent. I usually use a tent, but there was no tent used here. Strange enough, it got a good finish. I think it was only musted on, you know. So there's no flies. Don't think there are many flies about, obviously, because it looks good. So the next box coming up, or next picture is picture now of the control circuitry. So you will see the inside. So what I'm using is a delay timer, and a delay timer, power supply, and a 4-channel relay receiver. And that wee light on the right's just a run light. So that delay timer in the middle holds the motor from starting, the fan from starting until the louver's open. 12-volt power supply on the left for the actuator. This is the louver's finished, painted and all. The next photo will show you the whole unit as fan and louvers complete. That's actually a good photo. Nice and clear enough. Clean looking compared to the louvers now. This is me making the face for the shade. So the louvers goes in there. The louvers don't screw from the front, they screw from the back for tidiness, so you don't have to bore holes in the louvers themselves. It would ruin the face altogether by doing that. So the louvers are wedged in from the back. The plywood is marine ply, obviously, to keep the water from destroying it. It's lasted 8 years now and it hasn't done it no harm. This is the louvers now screwed into the face of the shade. You obviously can't see them as clear as this now, with the insulation being in the way. This is the louver system without the fan itself, the first time it was being put up. And the fan was winched up because it's quite heavy. And a ladder, and ready to be bolted there at that point. The control box and all was mounted at that point too. Had to be put up at stages, 3 pieces. This is it finished and mounted to the garage. The next picture is with the sun hitting the face of the garage, which looks quite well for an old picture. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed. It's been a joy, as always. Look out for more nice projects from me. Thank you.